Paul did not change the law, nor did he start a new religion. Yes, the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch, and they assembled themselves with the church. The word was ecclesia, which goes back to the Tanakh or the Old Testament, meaning the congregation. So the disciples were called followers of Christ, and they assembled together as a congregation and taught much people. And yes, Jesus rose on the first day, meaning that he rose on Sunday, perhaps because you don't do work on the Sabbath, so on the first day, the work had to be done, and he rose again, proving that he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creation. His resurrection proves that by him were all things created in heaven and in earth, which gives Jesus Christ the power to redeem us from the curse of the law. Notice, it never said that Christ redeemed us from the law, just that he redeemed us from the curse of the law, so that those that don't do it are not under a curse. However, those that do it are under a blessing, according to the scriptures. So it's better to do them. That's why Peter said that if you misunderstand Paul's letters or his epistles, those that are unlearned in the scriptures, it will lead to your own destruction. So you shouldn't even be reading Paul's letters until you are learned in the scriptures so that you don't lead to your own destruction. See, Paul called himself Hebrew of the Hebrews, circumcised of the 8th day, of the tribe of Benjamin. Then he called himself a Pharisee. A Pharisee is a Jew sect in ancient times known for their strict adherence to the law. So Paul, the Hebrew of Hebrews, was strict on the law, which was the perfect person for Jesus to reveal himself as that prophet that they were looking for. They asked John the Baptist, "Are you that prophet?" He said, "No." That prophet that Moses said would rise up in the midst of thee, and that he would be like unto him with the words of God in his mouth. That's why in the New Testament they were looking for that prophet. And remember, God said he will not alter a thing that has gone out of his lips. So Paul definitely doesn't think he has the authority to do so. And they were looking for that prophet because Ezra, the one who canonized the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, which is the only thing that Jesus and the apostles had, Ezra wrote a footnote at the end of Deuteronomy saying that there had not been a prophet that arose whom the Lord knew face to face. That prophet was also the angel that the Lord sent, who had the ability to pardon transgressions, and his name is in him. The name Yahusha, which we call Jesus. And Paul, just having his encounter, preached on the first day when he congregated with the disciples. And he preached to midnight because he was getting ready to leave the next day. Subscribe and follow for more.